Paintings from Singapore's national collection will be on display at the Venice Biennale for the first time. 8 Southeast Asian works from the National Gallery Singapore will be shown at the main exhibition. And they include this famous self-portrait by Nanyang artist Georgette Chen, who herself spent time and exhibited in Europe. Over at the Singapore Pavilion, local artist Robert Zhao will present a work about the intersection of nature and human society. Culture, Community and Youth Minister Edwin Tong says that the government will support efforts to bring local art to an international audience and grow demand for a strong creative economy. Now, to share more about their work at the Pavilion is artist Robert Zhao Renhui and curator Haeju Kim. Robert, let's begin with you. Talk to us first of all about the inspiration behind your piece. I know that you've been studying and working with forests here in Singapore over the last few years. Why specifically this artwork about forests?
So it's not just any forest. It's specifically looking at secondary forests in Singapore. And what I mean by secondary forests is forests that have grown out of land that's previously disturbed by human activities, such as maybe it could be a plantation or kampong, or it could be a British military barrack. And then all this was cleared away and nature somehow kind of reclaim back the space. And this is usually a forest that has some kind of our material history inside it. So I'm quite fascinated and have been looking at them for the past 6 years, mainly because these spaces are always very near high human densities, like they could just be beside where people stay, and then in less than a meter you have this secondary forest just beside it at the same time. And it's like it's a good intersection between nature and human, and we are kind of coexisting in a very kind of extreme way. So a lot of my work look at all these stories where the human and the non-human intersects.
Yeah, and the ecosystems as well that develop around it when you live in such close proximity in a city, in nature. Robert, Haeju, let's bring you in on the conversation here. What was the process like preparing for the Biennale and actually bringing Robert's work to Venice?
The preparation started about 10 months ago, and Robert already had a clear idea on the subject, which is the secondary forest in Singapore. So since this has been a long-term research project he has been undertaking, there were already abundant materials for the exhibition. So then we focused more on how we could narrow down the choices and continued discussions on the best way to conceive this exhibition in the context of the Venice Biennale. This involved many meetings, conversations, research trips, and numerous messages.
I understand that the installation will be at the Arsenale, which itself is an area of rich heritage, a beautiful part of Venice. Robert, your installation is going to be presented through 3 key works. So there are 3 different elements to this. There's a 2-channel video installation. There's also a sculptural video installation. And you've got photographic work as well. Why these specific mediums? And how did you actually narrow down hundreds of hours of material that you had into these 3 works?
So let me try to give a walkthrough of how the pavilion looks like. So when you first encounter our pavilion, you find actually a drawing that I did of an imaginary map of a secondary forest here in Singapore. And this map will include drawings of all the kind of events that are unfolding in the videos, which you will find later on inside the pavilion. And I call it a guide to the secondary forest of Singapore, generically trying to show you what a typical setting or the characters in a secondary forest is. And so when you enter the pavilion, you'll be first faced with a 2-channel video. And this 2-channel video is a 46-minute film and footages from the last 6 years of my observation from both a small secondary forest and from outside my window, just kind of observing and studying what actually unfolds if you pay attention. So all this is kind of in a 2-channel video with a soundscape designed by a Korean composer, Jang Yong-gu. And after that, on the right side of this video, you have this large installation sculpture with video screens, which I call the trash stratum. And inside this trash stratum, you find actually rubbish, trash, glass bottles, broken bricks, and shards of, I would say, material history of Singapore's past. So this range from, I think, from the early 1910 to the 1950s. So just different material histories. Rubbish literally kind of on the forest floor when you kind of walk around in it. And among this trash that I picked up, you can find all the video screens, which is basically animals kind of living in the secondary forest, having some kind of a rather vibrant life and not minding at all that there's a lot of rich material history that's kind of around the space. And then finally, on the other end of the pavilion, we have this image of an owl that's standing tall on top of another trash rubble sculpture. And this owl is specifically one that I saw before that actually chose to live. It's a pufferfish owl that chose to live inside a cement drain rather than, in a forest.
You've done so much work on this, Robert, and your dedication and rigor, very evident there in the pieces. The audience would have seen some of that playing just now on their screens. Haeju, I understand that Seeing Forest, that's the name of this exhibit. It wants to encourage visitors to actually explore urban design and how it can shape the natural world as well, and the impact it would have on each other, actually. Were there any challenges specifically that you faced in curating all of this together?
Yes, the exhibition aims to convey the concept that seeing is the way of communicating with nature, and the observation is the key to perceiving and understanding nature's reactions. So our challenge was how we could translate this into the experience of the audience when they visit the exhibition. So we worked hard to balance the sound and images and exhibition design so that the audience's experience could become an invitation to attentive seeing.
It's certainly going to be a rich and rewarding experience for visitors at the Singapore Pavilion at the Venice Biennale. Thank you so much for speaking to me about this. Robert Zhao Renhui and curator Haeju Kim behind the Singapore Pavilion at the Biennale Arte 2024 in Venice.